Now, the impact of the coronavirus in terms of families' finances means that many will be celebrating Christmas a little differently this year, more frugally, certainly. That's why the charity BookTrust is launching a drive to give children who are vulnerable or in care a present this Christmas. It's in its fourth year. The appeal is aiming to get more than 14,000 children reading with a surprise book gift. Well, let's talk to Gemma Malley, director at BookTrust, and Smriti Halls, BookTrust writer in residence. Good to see you both this morning. Gemma, can I start with you? 14,000 gifts is a big task. It's a lot to be done. Are you getting the support you need to do this?
It's a big ambition, but it's a really important ambition, and we've been so delighted by the number of people who want to help. Just £10 can help us get a book gift to a child who might be in care, might be in really vulnerable circumstances, might be in real poverty. I think this year there are so many families who face so many challenges. And we've chosen some fantastic hardback books, along with some lovely postcards and other bits and pieces from our fantastic authors and illustrators, just to really make Christmas magical for children who otherwise are having a pretty tough time.
Why do you think, Smriti, that it is important? I mean, we talk about the importance of books for all children, but I mean, particularly in this case, for those really disadvantaged children, why is it important, do you think, for them to be able to not only receive a gift, but get their nose in a book and escape into a different world?
Gosh, I think it's just an incredible outreach. It's so important that children receive books and have access to books, particularly those who are most vulnerable and who might not have access to books in this way normally. I think that they are quite simply the best book that the best gift that we can give. They are the gift that keeps on giving. You know, even as adults, many of us look back at those first books that we read as children as our foundation, as our building blocks. They hold huge emotional resonance for us as we get older. But more than that, I think that books have the capacity to be transformational. I really believe in the power of books to build bridges, to rebuild hearts, to give us the emotional language to navigate tricky times. And I think for many of the recipients of these books, they are going through tricky times. And what can be more hope-bringing than losing yourself in a story and being inspired, by a little mouse that can outsmart a giant Gruffalo 100 times its size. These are stories that bring joy, but which also inspire and empower. These are books that tell children about all the possibility there is for them in the world. And they are books that tell children, whatever you're experiencing, whatever you're feeling, you are not the first and you are not alone.
That's so powerful, actually, Gemma, the way Smriti put it there. The idea of being able to instill some hope in these children who are having a harder time than any of us should ever have to face.
Completely. I mean, it's great. We hear from the children how much they appreciate just receiving a present that actually goes to them. It is their special thing at Christmas. But what could be better than a book? As Smriti says, there is something transformational about a book and owning a book as well. There is something, children love to just these dog-eared books that they go back to over and over again. And choosing a book that we know children will want to come back to, whether it's an absolute classic or a fantastic non-fiction that children can refer to. Books just open worlds. Books are something to retreat to, and we all remember books that we grew up with when we were young. That they stay with us, and that's the gift we really want to give these children this year.
Can I just ask about inspiration, because we're talking about Marcus Rashford all the time at the moment, but how important is it, Smriti? I mean, he's such an influential young man, seems like a fine young man by all accounts. The fact that he's promoting reading as well, I mean, it's role models like that really help get the message through, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely, Stephen. I think that, what Marcus Rashford has done for so many aspects of what we've lived through in the last year has been huge. But I love that he's been part of a huge reading campaign. And I love that he speaks openly about the fact that if he had had more access to books, life would have looked different. And he wants to make that change for the young, for the most vulnerable, for the most in need. And I think that is simply amazing, because actually, you know, with this Book Trust appeal, for example, we are giving children, yes, the emotional language to deal with things, but we are also practically equipping them with tools that will increase their life chances. There's no doubt that children who read earlier perform better at school, and it will open doors for them lifelong. So I think, you know, having spokespeople for this is just immensely powerful, because it brings that impact of reading to the widest possible audience.
Smriti and Gemma, thank you both very much indeed. Really good to talk to you both this morning.
Thanks.
Well, still to